Hello, everybody. Hello as we come in. Lots of y'all are joining. We're going to give it a minute or two as folks slowly trickle in. Welcome to Study Abroad with Montclair State University. We are so excited to have you. In terms of today's session, it's going to be very easy. We're going to be talking about all about the wonderful opportunities Montclair State University has. I'm just going to give it 1 minute in case any latecomers kind of roll in. I know we've all had issues with Zoom in the past where it loves the update just as you're opening up the call. But today's session is going to be very easy. We're going to save all questions until the end if possible, so that way I can engage with the material, but also engage with you as much as possible. The meeting is going to be recorded, so that way you are aware that you are being recorded, but the content will be available next week for rewatching, and all the content is also available on our Study Abroad website. So I will go ahead and get started at 7:02, so that way we give the best opportunity. And we should definitely be done before that 8 o'clock. So all of y'all who are still watching cable television, you can get there for that 8 o'clock. But yes, I'm very excited to meet with you all. Let's see. Perfect. And then if you do have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I will try to get to them at the very end. And we do ask that if you are not actively asking a question, that you are on mute.
This should be scrolling.
Okay, so it is 7:02, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So everybody, my name is Brooke Klinger. I am the Program Associate for Inbound Exchange and Campus Engagement. I work in the Office of International Academic Initiatives. So for most of y'all, you will get to know us as Study Abroad. That is what our students know us as, a lot of our colleagues across the institution. International Academic Initiatives, it encapsulates all the super fun work we do across the institution, including with professors, Fulbright, and more. But today we are gathered to talk here about study abroad. This is the lovely Rocky. He has the globe in his hands, just as your students will one day too. We have a lot of programs, and in terms of the information, we do list it as 25 through 26 because this information is good for one academic year. These policies do change every single year, so if you have any Red Hawks you want to go abroad maybe next year or the year afterwards, do come back to our office. We always have new updates about scholarships, locations, and more. So in terms of study abroad, we do want to tell our families here that all of these photos are actual Red Hawks. These are Montclair State University students. There is only one photo in this entire slideshow that is not a Montclair student, and I will tell you when it is and why. So the first question that some of you might have is, what is study abroad? Maybe you've heard of it, seen it on television. I know it's popping right now with the Summer I Turned Pretty fans. But in terms of study abroad here at Montclair, it is a program in which students attend an academic program outside of Montclair's campus for credit. This can be international, and that's usually the case, but we also have domestic options for our students. So first, it's where students attend a university in a country or a state outside of Montclair. So that's where you're going for a whole semester or a whole academic year. You're studying, and then you're coming back to Montclair with a bunch of Montclair credits. The other option is students who take a Montclair State University course, and you travel with your professor to a new location. So maybe you go for spring break, maybe you go for fall break, or a couple of weeks in the summer. These are our main frameworks for study abroad, and then we have different program types that we're each going to talk through. In terms of the classic question, who can study abroad? We truly believe that all of our students should have an experience studying abroad during their time here, including those who might be of DACA or DREAMer status through domestic exchanges. So in terms of who can and who typically does, most of our students do study abroad their sophomore or junior year when it comes to our exchanges. However, our students can study in a faculty-led program as soon as their second semester of college. So they apply their first semester while they're here, and they can potentially go over spring break. For our study abroad programs, our students do not need to be fluent in a second language. However, we always do encourage our students to learn a second language if they're going to a new location. We want our students to be great global citizens who are ready to go out and engage with the world, and we need them to engage with the world and be able to say, "Where is the bathroom?" or "Please and thank you." So in terms of capabilities, are there limits to studying abroad? In terms of it, we have a couple of foundational rules. Number one is a minimum of a 2.5 GPA. We do this because we want our students to be successful on campus before they get off campus. So we want you to have the grade point of a 2.5. The other thing we want to make sure is no active disciplinary file. So this can be reviewed on a case-by-case basis, but we essentially want to ensure if our students are going off campus that they're acting and behaving as great representatives of Montclair State University. We've had things in the past where we've been able to review, such as a student lit a candle in her dorm room, came to us crying, apologetic, and we were able to adjust that situation. Having a parking ticket, yes, you are more than fine, but we want to make sure our students are writing their own papers, taking their own exams, and not having any issues on campus with campus police, fire and safety, and more. For our faculty-led programs, all first-year students have to complete at least one semester at Montclair State University for a faculty-led. And for our exchanges, summer programs, and more, we encourage you to have at least 1 year at Montclair State University. And all of our exchanges, you can spend up to a year abroad. For some of you who may be wondering if transfer students can study abroad, absolutely they can. We have a lot of transfer students who study abroad. My biggest advice for if you are a transfer student who wants to study abroad is start your application as soon as you are accepted or know you're coming. In terms of any of our semester programs, summer programs, you can start your applications up to 1 year in advance. So if you are a transfer student and you're starting, say, in the fall semester and you get accepted in June, some students have already started their fall applications up to a year earlier. So we want you to start as soon as possible so that way you can get into the highly desired locations. All of our locations are wonderful. I get very excited about all of our exchanges, but our students might have a very specific location in their head that they can only go to Seoul, not Dankook, even though they're both in South Korea, or they want to go to Italy and only Italy, maybe not Spain. So definitely start your application as soon as you know you want to go. For our transfer students, they do have to complete at least one semester here at Montclair State University, but most of them will do their transfer first semester here on campus and then spring of their junior year abroad or do a summer program before they enter their senior year. In terms of the benefits, I am a true believer, not just because I get paid to talk about study abroad, it's because I was transformed by study abroad myself. I come from a small town. When I say small town, I mean 84 people in the middle of nowhere, outside of Syracuse, New York. There's no public transportation where I grew up. There's not even a stoplight in the part of town where I grew up. And so I truly understand how transformative it is for someone to go from a town like that to somewhere completely different. My experience was in Ireland. I truly loved my experience. It really allowed me to have a lot of personal growth and develop as an individual. I really had to figure out how to be by myself on the other side of the world. The longest I had really ever been away from my parents was not that long, and it was only an hour and a half away from where I grew up. So going to a study abroad program really allowed me to grow as an individual, get a lot more mature as I had to navigate real life and grow as an individual. And I ultimately have that sense of global belonging. I always talk about Ireland with fondness to the point where I went on vacation this past year and I met someone from the town and I was so excited to talk to them and engage with them about the culture there. The next is educational benefits. So the first for us, study abroad is study. So we want our students to gain academic credit while going on their programs. We're not paying and not having our students to just go on vacation. Of course, they can travel, see the world, and we encourage them to explore on their own outside of classes, but they are there to gain academic credits. So ultimately, they're getting a global worldview that is broader than what they are offered on campus. Of course, Montclair is amazing. You have a multicultural campus that is right near New York City, a lot of different views that allow you to challenge your preconceived notions, challenge your capabilities, and more. But taking these educational skills and taking them out of this local sphere, putting them abroad really allows you to grow and understand your field outside of this certain dynamic. Lastly is the professional benefits. This job market can be very difficult for a lot of our students. A new study was actually just released in this past week and was shared by my National Association for Study Abroad. And students who study abroad typically see a salary in their first job being $4,800 higher than their peers who did not. And only 1% of Montclair students currently study abroad. So having this on your degree, it really allows you to stand out and have the practical capability of gaining you money that you may have not had before. And how do you gain money? It's the valuable job skills of having language proficiency. So maybe your student goes to another country, learns another language, cultural understanding. They're working with people who are different than them. They're showing that they are resilient and adaptable to a new culture and new climate. And lastly, self-confidence. I can truly speak to the power of seeing these students change. My student Luke, he went on this program. He was actually saying the other day, he goes, I was such a wimpy little kid when I went on my program, and I came back and I felt like a man. I'm like, okay, Okay, Luke, that's a little TMI. But he came back with this new swagger, this new confidence, and he really felt like he can navigate the world. And he's very competent, and he constantly works with international students. He works with early childhood students in his education program, and he really engaged and grew professionally and had really interesting experiences in his studies that helped him as a professional. So all of these skills are really marketable in our growing global workplace. We are of a Zoom generation. Everyone is meeting constantly on Zoom. At one point, this call might have been in a lecture hall on campus, but here we are all at home, probably in stretchy pants, watching this talk that I'm giving right now. And we could be anywhere. So it really helps in a growing global workplace and it really makes you stand out amongst your fellow job seekers. In terms of affordability, a lot of people wonder, can I actually afford to study abroad? When I did my program a decade ago, I did work 3 different jobs. Our students do not need to hustle in the same way I did. We have a couple of different program types. The main ones we're going to talk about are affiliated, exchange, and host pay. Our affiliated programs, they can sometimes be more expensive. So essentially, you're paying whatever the costs are. However, some of them can be cheaper. So especially our summer and winter programs. They are actually cheaper in the summer to do one of these study abroad programs than they are to take classes here on campus in the summer. We're seeing summer programs that can be up to $1,000 cheaper than Montclair State tuition for the same number of credits. In addition, we have our exchange programs. These are very popular and they allow our students to pay their exact same tuition here on campus and keep their financial aid package. So our students are paying the exact same thing to have this wonderful experience. And lastly is host pay. So these are schools where you pay directly the cost to them. At this time, we have an Italy program where students, instead of paying Montclair, they're paying about $3,000 for a semester of classes in Italy. So for some of our students, it can actually be a lot cheaper to do these programs than actually coming to Montclair. So we have a lot of options for our students and a lot more affordable programs than ever before. In terms of financial aid, if you already qualify for financial aid, in most cases, you can apply some or all of it to your program. So in terms of our exchanges, you can keep your complete financial aid package, whether that's the honors program, presidential scholar, Garden State Guarantee, you may keep it all. In addition, there are additional scholarships that are available for you by outside organizations, by Montclair, and more. In terms of studying abroad, you may always use your Pell Grant, your tuition aid grant from the state, and is only available through our exchanges. Additionally, around the world, the US dollar is worth more than local currency and the cost of living can be lower. So I know when I went to Canada 2 years ago, the US dollar was stronger than the Canadian dollar. So for every dollar I was spending in Canada, I was saving about 25 cents. And so even getting a $2 bottle of Coke from the vending machine, I saved 50 cents. And lastly, the cost of living can be significantly lower. So if you're a student who lives on campus in a double room in Blanton Hall, it's going to cost $4,939 for a semester. Meanwhile, to be in a very similar room at Dankook University in South Korea, it's going to only cost you $1,200 per semester. So just by going to class, paying your Montclair tuition, and living in South Korea instead of Montclair, you're actually already saving $2,700. And we have scholarships that can actually fully pay for your cost of student housing as well. So it's a lot more accessible than ever. Speaking of scholarships, we do have scholarships. So our biggest scholarship is through the provost office. We have $120,000 that we're able to give to our students every single year. And these scholarships are for students with demonstrated financial need. That term, demonstrated financial need, essentially, we look for students who have Pell Grants or students who need a lot of financial aid. These scholarships give up to $3,000 for semester abroad programs, $2,000 for summer and national student exchange programs, and $750 for short-term faculty-led programs. Some of our summer programs are only $2,500, so they could potentially pay for most of your program. If you guys see this picture, I do want to shout it out. This is my lovely student Pam. She is currently in this photo in South Korea. Right now, she's on a semester at sea study abroad program where she is on a cruise ship going to 12 different countries over the course of this semester. So I'm so proud of her. In addition, she won the SOAR scholarship. She was also a Gilman program winner. A Gilman program is for students who get the Pell Grant. 1 in 4 students win, but it can get you up to $5,000 to help for your study abroad program. And every single year for the last 75 years, we have given away 2 Sister City scholarships. The Sister City Scholarship provides 2 students each year a fully funded year abroad in Graz, Austria. That is our sister city. So post World War II, we decided we want to be diplomatic besties. So 2 students each year do not owe a bill to Montclair State University. They do not owe a bill to Graz, Austria. Their classes are paid for, their housing is paid for, their meal plans are paid for, and then they get a stipend as well. So we really encourage our students to come study abroad. It can actually save 25% of your overall costs to study abroad. And in terms of our SOAR scholarship, it is meant for student housing. And so if you're looking at some of our programs, this program for $3,000 to save for your program can completely pay for the cost of your housing. So our program options, we do want to emphasize that we have different lengths that cover all of our students' comfort levels. Our shortest program is 2 to 4 weeks. When we say 2 weeks, technically it's 8 days, so a little bit longer than 1 week. You can go for just spring break, or if you want to go instead of 1 week, you can go up to a full academic year in our exchange programs. We have summer programs that are 2 to 6 weeks. In addition, our affiliated programs, they can go from 1 week to a full semester, and our national student exchange is semester or year long. In terms of our faculty-led programs, these are students at our sister city in Graz, Austria. They're in our T program. It's a wonderful program we've had for ages, but we love our sister cities, and this is a wonderful program with 2 professors who've done it for several years, and it goes every single year. For our faculty-led programs, these are short-term programs that are either week-long opportunities within a semester or a standalone summer program led by Montclair State faculty members. So how it works is a group of students and professors all travel together with a particular academic focus. So it is a very concentrated course. So everyone is taking the same writing class, everyone's taking the same biology class, and then you get to go abroad with your professors and classmates. So these are a group of students who were media students as well as language, culture, and business students who went to Morocco. So these are really great opportunities for our students to study abroad in a shorter time period. So maybe they're really nervous about going abroad for the first time. Maybe they have a strict major. So maybe you're a nursing student who has to get very certain qualifications within the state of New Jersey, or education, or even accounting, where you have to follow New Jersey laws for your degree. You could definitely do a faculty-led program. Maybe you're someone who doesn't want to miss a semester. FOMO is very real. Maybe you're just nervous to leave. You have family obligations. These are really great opportunities. And lastly, those who want to study abroad a few times. We have students who will go on one of these programs every single year and just kind of go where the wind blows. They go once their freshman year, they study abroad for a whole year during their sophomore year, and then they get out again their senior year. These are very flexible for all of our students, including first-year students, because they can go as soon as their spring break. Our university college students who may have not declared a major can actually explore the idea of a major with one of these programs, or even senior students who are about to graduate. So in the past academic year, our office ran 9 different programs. So we went to Panama, Iceland, Austria, Panama once more, Costa Rica, Montclair in Greece, Austria, Sicily, and Brazil. In terms of our Costa Rica program, we sent 47 students in one super large group. So you know when you're going with a lot of classmates and a lot of friends. So it's a really great opportunity. For this upcoming year, I'm going to show you, as I called it to a student earlier, a buffet of options. You don't have to just get one meal. You can try a little bit of everything when it comes to studying abroad. So this fall, we are sending our Red Hawks to Italy to study food and literature in Naples. We have 2 different programs going to London, including a literary London concentration and a theater in London concentration. Both of them will allow opportunities to study literature and culture. So they're going to go to Shakespeare's Globe. They're going to see shows on the West End and more. We also have a program called Montclair in Dubai, where they're studying strategic business communication, Montclair in Portugal, supply chain and inventory management, and Montclair in the Caribbean, learning about how leisure and recreation works in society, but specifically in the context of a cruise. We have our spring break program, so these are our lovely students in Iceland. This Iceland program has gone every single year the last few years. So we first have our Transatlantic Entrepreneurship Academy. It's this really cool collaborative classroom where students from Austria work with a classroom here on campus in Montclair to create a sustainable startup project. They exchange, so essentially our students welcome a group of Austrian students in February, show them New York City, so Montclair. They have a wonderful time, and then over spring break, our students get to go to Austria and have the same experience there. We have Montclair in Iceland. This is a new program, the technology and business sector, where it's talking about geothermal activity and how this energy is being used in business for Bitcoin mining, and more. We have Montclair in Iceland, exploring geology and sustainability. This program is all over our websites and social media and more. They get to go to volcanoes, hot springs, waterfalls, and more to study geology and sustainability. It's a one credit class. It's on every single year, and it's a very exciting program. In addition, we do have a new program, the Honors Edge in London for honor students only. Montclair in Costa Rica, if you've been on our social media, which is Montclair Abroad, you can scroll back a couple of months and see this amazing program. A group of media students went this last year and they got to engage in a lot of different locations, including the rainforest. They went to a professional football game, they went to a television stadium, and more. This is a school communications program, very cool. In addition, we loved Costa Rica so much. Our community biology students and community ecology students are going this year as well to study the rainforest and the different climates, and these programs are super affordable. Um, Montclair Abroad, so sorry for the typo, folks. We initially were going to have this program in Tunisia, but due to political issues in the climate right now, we can't go. So we're currently waiting for the new program to be announced. We have Montclair Art, Design, and Culture in Mexico, which is really exciting, and then Montclair in Mexico Sports Communication. In addition, we will have some late spring faculty-led programs as well as summer. So essentially, late spring programs mean that our students are going to be taking the course throughout the entire spring semester. And then in May, they will go travel for a week or two after the semester has ended. So we have Montclair in Munich and Berlin, Dance in Spain, Montclair in Seoul, bridging language, cultures, and careers. This program will allow our students to go study local history and culture in Seoul, South Korea. And in regards to our Montclair in Munich and Berlin program, they're studying Nazi propaganda, and they're also going to be practicing German language and studying German history. We will also have theater in Greece, where students will be going to Greece to explore the historic landmarks and talk about the current theater scene. And lastly, Montclair in the Netherlands, talking about livable cities and sustainability. Our exchange programs are very popular each year here at Montclair State University. Our semester and academic year exchanges allow our students to enroll directly in one of our 20 plus universities abroad that we partner with. So when I'm not meeting with families and meeting with students, I have my own cohort of kids. I was just talking about I should have about 50 exchange students this spring that will be coming here. Right now, I have about 40. All of these students come to Montclair State University from across the United States as well as internationally, live on campus, explore what it means to go to New York for the city for the first time. They get to engage in American campus for the first time. It's a really wonderful and engaging program. And because of that, our Montclair students get to go abroad and live and have a wonderful semester. So how it works is we have a partnership. Our students get to go abroad and they get to go live in class and go to class with other exchange students as well as international students at that location, allowing for a deeper immersion. All of our universities do have courses in English, except for one or two. Those one or two, we will always tell our students if that is the case. So if your student does not speak Korean, they can still go to South Korea. They can still go to Spain, even if they don't speak Spanish, and they can still go to Germany if they don't speak German. Our exchange programs allow you to pay your Montclair State University tuition and fees directly to Montclair, and then pay for the cost of accommodation and other fees to the host university. So essentially what that means is you pay directly to Montclair, you pay your tuition, all is normal. What you will be paying when you're abroad is the cost of your housing. So you're paying for your student dormitories, you're paying for your student accommodations, and that's where you can apply for that SOAR scholarship I talked about earlier, which can cover up to $3,000 in student housing. And this means that you can use federal and state aid to fund your program. So our partners around the world include two different schools in South Korea, Dankook University and the University of Seoul. We also have our sister city partner, University of Graz, which has those two fully funded scholarships each year. France has Group 8AH, which is a school of communications for our students. Germany has the University of Constance. It is right near the Alps. It's in a beautiful lakeside town in Germany, very quaint. The Netherlands has the Hans University of Applied Sciences. The cost of living is very low there and is absolutely beautiful. Norway has the University of Agder. in which we actually had a student loved it so much. We're sad to see that they're no longer a Red Hawk. They transferred there. They had a great quality life. They loved the program there so much. We have Nebrija University in Spain. Now you will see the lovely quotations that says limited spots. This is because the Nebrija University program at this time is only for Spanish majors, and they only want 1 to 2 students per semester. That being said, if you are a student who really wants to go to Spain, you can still go to Huelva University. It is a beachside town in Spain, right near Portugal. It is literally next to the ocean. So if you want to go to the Spanish coast for a semester and take your courses, you absolutely can. We have our program in Kristianstad, Sweden, at Kristianstad University. This semester, we have a $4,000 scholarship for students to go. They just have to go to the school. So some of these schools will additionally provide private funding to our students. So our students can apply to go to Kristianstad, get that $4,000, and also apply for that SOAR scholarship and get $3,000 from there. We have a lot of funding, so we always encourage our students to talk to us and try to get that as many of those scholarships as possible. In terms of other exchanges, we have two currently in the United Kingdom, Bournemouth University and Northumbria University. And we also have Uni College in Florence, which offers that direct pay option, which is for the spring semester only about $3,000. So that's very exciting. If you currently pay more than $3,000 to go to Montclair State University, you can go study abroad in Uni College at Florence for about $3,000. In Europe, we also have Atlas University in Istanbul, and then we also will have very specific programs. So some of our university partners across the different colleges and schools have specific agreements for schools. So essentially that means these are schools that the students within that school can go to. So for any of the previous programs, if they had your major, you can go. For these programs, you might have to have a specific major or be in a specific school for enrollment. So for Spain, our film and acting students can go to our partner in Thai Arts in Madrid. And then the School of Business, Feliciano, has their own study abroad office known as Feliciano Global, in which they have signed several agreements that business students can go to. So we can see iCheck Brussels in Belgium. We can see in France, Spain, and Morocco, Toulouse Business School. In Poland, we have Kaminsky Business School. In Ireland, Dubai, England, and France, we have EM Normandy Business School. And then in Switzerland, we have OST, Eastern Switzerland University of Applied Sciences. Eastern OST, Eastern Switzerland last year was giving our students $2,500 just for going. They did not need to apply for scholarships. They just had to say, I want to go to Switzerland. So we do have a lot of funding and we do encourage you to talk to us so we can get you that funding. In South America, this is one of the other schools besides the school Nebrija, which you had to be a Spanish major. In Argentina, Universidad Abierto Interamericanos in Buenos Aires. It does require you to be fluent in Spanish to attend. We do have Colombia, which is in Javier Cali. We have Canada, which is in North America for HEC Montreal. And then for Canada at University Laval, you are required to be fluent in French or be a French major. And lastly, in Oceania, we have Australia. This program does have a direct pay option, which is a little bit more expensive than Montclair. But if you have always dreamed on being in the Sunshine Coast, it is on the coast of Australia, next to the beach, right near the reefs. It's $9,500 per semester. In addition, we do have a partner that is an exchange, that is Victoria University. It is in Melbourne. It is lovely. Our students go all the time, including that student Luke, who said a study abroad changed his life. We also have our national student exchange. So maybe you are someone who does not want to leave the United States. It is scary to leave. We have this program, which is really great. It allows you to go across the United States, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, all within the United States. Then if you want to go to Canada, and to a non French-speaking location, you can go through our National Student Exchange to Canada. This program, like our study abroad programs, allow year-long or semester exchanges, but it is safe for our DACA or Dreamer students, so you do not have to be a DACA or Dreamer student, but this program allows you to have that study abroad or study away experience without leaving the country. These programs will cost your Montclair State University tuition, and with exemption of Puerto Rico, which requires Spanish instruction, and Quebec, which requires French, the language of instruction at all NSC campuses is in English. Very excitingly, we do have a program in Hawaii that we are launching for this spring through our National Student Exchange. So if you have a student who is dreaming of paying your Montclair tuition and going to Hawaii instead, please let our office know. We are looking for Redhawks to go to Hawaii. And yes, parents, as much as you want to go, sadly, you do have to be a Montclair student to go. In terms of our National Student Exchange, you pay your Montclair tuition and you pay the cost of housing to the host campus, just like a regular international exchange. In terms of top 5 destinations, our students do have to rank where they want to go. With Hawaii, we have a direct path for enrollment, no issues. However, for some locations, they only have 1 or 2 spots and they may be more popular. So this year, Guam is very hard to get our students into. However, we have very easily got our students to Hawaii, very easily gotten our students to the U.S. Virgin Islands and more. So we do ask that you rank. You will never be forced to go to a location you don't want to go, but you may not get your number one if Guam is your dream. We do have a Hawaii program. As I said, you get to pay your Montclair State University tuition, and it almost has every single major. So if you want to go to Hawaii, do let us office know. The last type of program we have are affiliated programs. So our affiliated programs basically expand our offerings by working with third-party providers. And so I actually know one of our providers very well. We went to high school together, World Strides they work for. And essentially these are companies that we have worked with to expand our offerings. So if you have a student who only wants to go to New Zealand or who only wants to go to Ghana or only wants to go to Madagascar, we have programs and opportunities for your students to go to those locations, and you pay the tuition rate directly to them. That being said, some of these companies are for profit and some are for nonprofit. One of the nonprofits we work with is SIT, which also runs the Peace Corps. Super great, super nonprofit. However, some of the for-profit companies in this portfolio can be very expensive. So we do encourage your students to talk to us before they apply for anything. Some of them can actually be cheaper because some of our summer programs are all affiliated. So we do encourage you to talk to us. And this is the one photo in the entire slideshow that is not of Montclair State University students. The reason why I include it is because this is a program where students have gone to Antarctica to study penguins. That can show you how broad these programs can truly be. They can go anywhere in the world, including Antarctica. Montclair currently does not have an Antarctica program, so if you do have that specialized dream that we aren't currently offering, please let us know and we'll talk to you about these programs. The one thing we always want to emphasize with our programs that are affiliated is not all of your financial aid is applicable. So you can always use your Pell Grant, but if you have any tuition aid grants from the state, such as the Garden State Guarantee, you cannot use it. If you have the honors program, you cannot use it. If you have any of these specialized scholarships for Montclair State University, you cannot use them to pay for this program. So sometimes our students will be paying for programs anywhere from $5, $10, $20,000 out of pocket. And so we always encourage you to talk to us because our partner programs are significantly cheaper. Our exchange programs cost the same as your tuition, but we want you to have all the options that are out there. So we can see if you explore on our website any of the things that say ISA, CEA, Semester at Sea. Semester at Sea is the program I mentioned my student Pam is on. She went on and she ended up getting $40,000 in private scholarships. So it is possible for you to do these programs if you do need scholarships. However, she worked her butt off for the last year applying for everything. So we do encourage you to do your research and more. Winter and summer programs. So we do have winter and summer programs here at Montclair State University that we partner with. At this time, all of them operate in affiliated, which means you pay directly to them. But this is an example of where our guidance and these programs we partner with can be very affordable, and so we encourage our students to talk to us. So if you were to take 6 credit hours at Montclair State University, you're paying for just 6 credits by the hour. That is going to cost about $3,300. Really great. Come to Montclair, you can come to campus, take it online. You're not paying for any housing. However, we have study abroad programs that we work with our students for a month long in the University of Seoul. So, University of Seoul, if your student wants to live in South Korea for a month, have their housing paid for, and get 6 credit hours, that is $2,500. If your student wants to go to Costa Rica, live with a host family, take salsa dancing classes, take cooking classes, take Spanish classes, that program is only $2,000, which is still cheaper than your Montclair State University tuition. On top of that, we encourage all of our students to apply for those scholarships. So last summer, we were giving the summer scholarships for up to $2,000. So some of our students are only paying a couple $100s for these programs instead of paying $3,400. 100 for summer courses. So some of our programs include Dankook University, University of Seoul, University of Graz, Munich International Summer University. We have the United Kingdom's and Northumbria and Bournemouth University summer programs. France and Spain have TBS Summer University. University of Laval has a French intensive program, and Costa Rica has public health, education, or Spanish programs. So we have a lot of these schools, really great. We can get you summer credits and more. The next thing we want to talk about in terms of our programs, we've talked about the frameworks, but we want to talk about student safety. That is our number one goal when it comes to sending our students abroad. We want to make sure our students are safe and having a great educational experience. So some common questions we want to talk about with you is, do my students need a passport? Yes, if your student is going abroad or knows that they want to go abroad, we really encourage you now to start applying for passports because they stay so good for so long. We encourage you to start applying before they even want to determine did they want to study abroad internationally. I also recommend to pay the extra $50. You can get the passport card, which is really great to keep in your wallet. What about visas? Maybe you're wondering, how will a student go to the country? Um, it is the student responsibility to coordinate their own visa, and we cannot assist in the visa process. So it's going to depend by country by country. So for some schools, such as the schools in England, based on the length of their program, our students do not need visa. So we can talk to you about the very basics of that end. We can write letters supporting that, yes, this student is going to Italy. Yes, this student is going to Spain, but it will be the student's responsibility to do the research and fill out the applications for the visas. Next is, what about health insurance? My student might be going abroad. What should I worry about? We do require all of our students to enroll in a program called GeoBlue. This plan is in addition to whatever healthcare coverage you have at Montclair or at home. And it comes up to a total of $2.15 a day. So it can be very affordable. It includes up to $1 million in medical maximum, including surgeries, which we did have a student who had to get surgery because he broke his foot playing soccer. He wasn't even doing anything crazy. He was just playing soccer with his friends. It includes office visits, x-rays, ambulatory care, prescription drugs, dental for injury or relief of pain. I had a student who chipped a tooth last week and needed tooth surgery. It also does include things such as helicopter retrievals. I know that sounds very wild for me to say, but if there is some sort of terrible situation, this insurance ensures your student is covered and gets you out. They will rescue you via helicopter. It is a really great comprehensive coverage that has been determined by our legal team at the university. How about emergencies? What do we do? I know the world can be a scary place. Things are always happening and we are always active and aware. We work with a risk intelligence organization that provides alerts and monitoring for Montclair called Alert Traveler. All of our students enroll in it, and also all of our professors and staff work in it too. So when I went to Canada last year, I had to enroll. Essentially, it allows you to have all the information about your host country or location. Even if you are a student doing a domestic exchange in Hawaii, you still have to enroll in this. It's going to give you safety alerts and provide you with emergency contacts in your host country. So fire, police, and embassy. Small scale things we've had is we've had students who are abroad and they get a warning saying, there is a strike on the railroads today. Please maintain travel via buses. Great, super easy. We did have a student who was in Graz, Austria, and while she was there, the street she normally walks home upon, they found an undetonated mine from World War II. So they closed the whole block, closed the perimeter. Sounds very crazy, but she was completely safe because she got the notice saying, go take the next road over, don't go here. And basically, it lets not only the student know what's going on, but it also lets us know what's going on. So if there is a crisis, if there is a weather situation, if there is strikes, our office knows about it and we know to reach out to the students. In addition, there is an emergency button that says help me. If it presses that, that means every single person in our office and our staff will be getting an alert to know that we have to get in contact with that student. We know this is when you call the cavalry, you call the police, you call the fire department, and more. And in addition, when it comes to these emergencies and the safety and more, we really want to emphasize that all of our students are only allowed to study abroad in countries that meet Department of State safety standards. So that is level 1, level 2. So those are countries that we're not seeing any active acts of terrorism. We're not seeing any active acts of war. That being said, we cannot control where our students go, but we do encourage them to use Alert Traveler, use their intelligence, research where they're going, and we are there to support our students throughout this process. Lastly is what if my student has a disability or needs health assistance? So in terms of our students going abroad, we've had students with health capabilities that they need further assistance for. We've had students with disabilities going abroad. In terms of medications, most doctors will write the appropriate amount. So we had my student who is going abroad, Pam, she had her doctor write 6 months worth of medications that she was able to take with her. That being said, there are some limitations depending on where you're going. So when it comes to the research process, we do encourage you to do research on which countries, because of course your students' health and safety and happiness is priority number one. That being said, we do not want to send them to a country where they cannot maintain those things. At this time, Japan has a really strict law in regards to what ADHD medications are allowed. A lot of the common medications that are used here in the United States are considered controlled substances. So if we have a student with ADHD, we might say maybe you don't want to go to Japan and instead you want to go to South Korea. It's not the same. However, we want to ensure that you can prioritize your health and safety needs. In addition, we have that GeoBlue Healthcare we talked about a couple minutes ago that provides prescriptions and health appointments. And then if you are a student who is registered with the Disability Resource Center, we can work with them. That being said, we do want to be transparent. Montclair State University and our National Student Exchange, which has universities across the United States, any school and all schools within the United States does have to follow the American Disabilities Act. We will give reasonable accommodations and work with your student. That being said, that is the American Disabilities Act. Not all of our partners abroad have fantastic disability offices. That is not to say that they don't. Some schools, like I know a lot of the schools in England, have really great disability resource offices. I speak to them regularly with my students who come here. So we encourage you to talk to us, talk to the Disability Research Center, and also if you're looking at going on a program, do research. Our faculty-led programs, we can ensure that it is compliant in most places. However, if you are going on a cobblestone street in Italy, it may not be fully wheelchair accessible if you're nervous. So do your research, think about what you're capable of doing, and talk to the Disability Resource Center. We want study abroad to be for everyone, but unfortunately, some countries around the world are not accessible for everyone. So we will work with you to find a program that can best suit your needs. In addition, the Disability Resource Center can speak to other resource centers around the world and try to provide you with the most care humanly possible. So what are the next steps? So let's say we have decided we're going to go study abroad. This is great. This is exciting. We're ready to go abroad. We have a website, Go Explore. If you are a parent, there is a page called Study Abroad for Parents. You can explore on that page and see the kind of questions your students may not think to ask. Because at the end of the day, your students are going to go, I'm trying to plan what meal I'm getting at the restaurant. I'm planning where I'm going on Instagram to get the cute photo. Meanwhile, you might be thinking about things like visas, emergencies, healthcare. All of those questions are outlined there for you to research. In addition, we encourage our students to go on, click through our programs, see what's available. We also encourage you to talk to advisors. So I am what's called a study abroad generalist. I provide the very foundational work for study abroad. I say, these are our program types. This is how you decide which program is right for you. These are how you find the costs of the programs. However, we do have a really elite team of study abroad advisors who work with our students directly by your major. They can say, this is a really great place for someone to go who's an economics major, or this is a really great place for marine science students, or communication students, or art students. And they can work with your student to maximize the experience so they can get the best educational opportunity available. You can visit a study abroad fair. We just had our annual fair about 2 weeks ago, where we had our providers from around the world in the affiliated programs. We had all of our professors out. We had study abroad alumni. We have information sessions weekly where I do this exact same slideshow. So if your student wasn't here and you sat here and you said, you need to hear this information too, come to that. Or they can book an appointment with me directly. I do one-on-one calls all the time where I talk about majors and locations and more. We have an office on campus. We are in Cole Hall 319. So if you are talking to your student, that is the building with Panera Bread. That is how they know us, or either that or the admissions office. We're on the third floor. Come talk to us. We have study abroad alumni who work in our office. We can connect you with students who studied at the program you want to do. It's a really great way to engage. Next is Montclair Abroad. It's our social media. We have done the science. We can see who has opened the emails that we have sent, the text messages we have sent, and honestly, our students aren't opening emails. That being said, they are looking at our Instagram. They are commenting. They are DMing us. Follow us on Montclair Abroad. That is where we post our reminders and more. Of course, our website has all of those reminders and dates and lovely banners that pop up saying this is the due date. But if your student is scrolling on Instagram, they can see today we said, hey guys, applications are due this day. Hey, we have an info session on Monday. Oh, this is how you find out information about scholarships. And we post it here. We try to be light, we try to be friendly, we try to use the current memes or the current trends that are going on. So definitely go on there, keep in touch. If your student is nervous about emailing us, they can always DM us. I'm the girl behind the Instagram, so I will respond via DM to your students, and we can work with you to get you excited. And also, we love it when our students tag us so you can see the actual photos of Montclair State students doing these programs. In terms of contacting, these are our lovely team of advisors for semester and summer programs, as well as winter programs. So we have Jess Epstein, I absolutely adore, and I'm not gassing these people up just because they're my coworkers. I genuinely love both of these women that I work with. They're great friends in real life. They're great advisors, and they take such great care of our students. So Jess, she went to Japan this year. She went to Austria. She went snorkeling off the coast of Tanzania. She lived in Colombia for 2 years. Very international, very cool. She's visited our campus in Hawaii, so you can work with her if you're a College of Humanities and Social Sciences student, University College student, or Feliciana School of Business student. Or you can work with the woman I literally call Sunshine. She is so warm, so outgoing. Her name is Sandy Holder. She is our coordinator for international education. She works with our communication and media students, art students, science and mathematics, College for Community Health, School of Nursing, and College for Engaged Learning. These are really great people to work with. They're very engaged with our students. They're constantly knowing the best schools, working out the best tricks to get our students the most amount of money and funding humanly possible. In terms of the other folks, that is me. I do our classroom visits on campus. So your student, if they have not met me already, they're gonna see me at tabling, events, welcome days, open house. And they can come talk to me and do Study Abroad 101. Next, for our faculty-led programs, this is my lovely colleague, Katarina. They are a wonderful person who works on all of our faculty-led programs. So if your student wants to do one of those 1 week long programs or 2 week long programs, they will work with my colleague, Katarina. And lastly, this is my supervisor, Tim White, voice of an angel, loves to sing on Broadway and do show tunes. He works with all of our students. You will very famously see him around campus at Freeman Hall. He works with all of our students and he does the Fulbright program, which is a postgraduate opportunity. And he is also the big man that signs all the agreements and exchanges. So if you want to go somewhere, please let me know so I can chase him down. In terms of the next steps, we do have an email account, studyabroad@montclair.edu. You can email them directly if you ever have any questions. Like I said, follow us on Instagram. And for those of us watching from laptops or more, this link leads directly to our website. We can also drop in the chat the direct link to our study abroad website as well, and I will drop that in just a moment. But if any folks have any questions, please let me know. We are so happy that you are here today, that you learned about Montclair Abroad, and if you have any questions, I will be here to answer them. Thank you all so much.
I don't see where to raise the hand. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, you can go ahead and ask a question. I'm going to drop right now the link to the website in the chat. But yes, what's your question, sir?
Two quick questions. You mentioned for the where is it? The affiliate, not the affiliated programs don't allow for scholarships and things.
Yep.
But all the other programs will accept the honors scholarship and the president's scholarship.
Yep. For our
So,
exchanges, they absolutely will.
so whatever the student is currently paying for tuition, basically for tuition, this none of this handles room and board. It's all tuition based, and then
Um,
room and board is separate that we have to
so
pay.
in terms of this, how it will work is like if you are an honor student, let's pay you, say, by the time all your scholarships come in, you are paying $2 to come to Montclair, right?
Yeah.
That will be fully maintained. And so
Yes.
if your student has additional funds, let's say, they can get it as a refund that they can apply towards student housing if they'd like.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Then the other question I had specifically is, my daughter's a music major. Are
Okay.
there any of those schools, those areas? So I saw you saw theater and things like that, but
Yep.
were any of those particularly for music majors?
So right now, we're currently developing a relationship with a school in Austria. Our students can currently go to what's called the Kug. It's in Graz, Austria. It's in our sister city. So for the music students there, they can go and they can do up to 60% of their courses for music. So if your student wants to go, we recommend they go earlier on, say their sophomore year when they still have their general education courses. And then some of the other schools do specifically have music programs. But at this time, we do not have, say, the School of Music specifically wants this one, but they might have a music program at Agder, or they might have a music program. Actually, they do have our program at Agder. I know that for a fact. So on our website, and we encourage all of our folks to go on the website and explore, and I can screen share right now. You can go to our Study Abroad website, which I dropped in the chat. And you can search by major. So if we're going to search for our programs, we're going to go in and we're going to reset our filters, probably because I was advising a student earlier. Perfect. We're going to say a program type that's an exchange, and then there's exchange music, and then we can type our academic area. So music, and we can search, and then we have 9 matches for music schools.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Perfect. Anybody else who have any other questions at this time? Perfect. Well, if that is the case, I hope you all have a wonderful program and a wonderful semester and a wonderful time at Montclair State University. I'm going to stay on with Kelsey. Is there a question? I hear a microphone chirping. Okay. If no one has any questions, I hope you all have a wonderful night. And thank you so much for coming to the session. Oh, there is a question in the chat, it looks like. Okay, participants, let me close this out so I can see the chat messages. Okay, perfect. Yes, the recording will be shared. So if any of you would like to rewatch this again sometime next week, the recording will be shared. But thank you all. You are free to hop off the call. I'm going to stay on for the next minute or two for any last minute questions if folks message me. But thank you again. Oh, thank you so much for your kind comments, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Please hop off the call whenever you are ready. We hope you have a wonderful time and come to Montclair, come to our office and visit us at Study Abroad.
Thank you so much, Brooke. I really
Of
appreciate it.
course, of course. I hope you have a wonderful night. And then I do know this is your call, so you can close it whenever you're ready.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Have a great night.
Perfect. You too. Goodbye.